do that. Okay, I think it gives you some time to, only a few seconds to respond. I thought I had tried this, but that's different. Okay. Oh, it keeps going back. Why is it doing that? Huh, it's acting a little funny. All right, that's okay. We'll continue and see what happens. All right, great. So that's how the poll works, all right? Sometimes it'll be multiple choice. Sometimes it'll be, so, oh, okay, thank you. Is that what it means? So it isn't going to be sunny. I hope it's sunny over there. It's really sunny over here and very, very hot. All right, next question. Ready? For those of you in quarantine, what has been your favorite thing? If you've been in quarantine, I know a lot of you were for 2 weeks, you might still be, I'm not exactly sure. So you can type your short answers, please. Food. Oh, great. Quarantine food has been good. That's good. Watching, all right. Food Panda, sleeping, Netflix, watching TV, sleeping. I bet you're sleeping, yeah. Friends. Okay. Oh, like that's great. Yeah. Oh, look at the cloud. What's Food Panda? Is that an app where you order food from? Watching TV, the people. I think street. Maybe like watching the streets down below. Okay. Great. Ooh, Food Panda, watching TV, and Netflix are very popular. I should probably search what Food Panda is for when it's my turn. Yep, Netflix also. Great. All right, I'm locking the answers in 3, 2, 1. All right. So very popular. We have Food Panda, watching TV, and Netflix. That's great. That seems like a very productive quarantine time for me. All right, next one. What has been your least favorite thing about quarantine for those of you that are in quarantine, are still in quarantine, are transitioning? It's lonely, yeah. Orientation. Hey. Just kidding. You're allowed to say anything. I understand. You're bored, lonely. Uncertainty, yes. Trust me. I mean, I'm stuck over here in Mexico still. Uncertainty is definitely an issue. The sunshine. Oh, somebody said the sunshine. Why is that your least favorite thing? Sunshine is awesome. Oh. Locked. You're locked in the room. Yeah. Home. Maybe. I'm not sure what that means. Cannot. Let's see. What else we got? Lonely, bored, face. I don't know what face. Face is supposed to be attached to something else, but I can't. Okay. All right. Let me lock it. So yeah, you're probably definitely a little lonely, bored. It's not an easy thing to go through. I am definitely not looking forward to it. Thank you for your very honest answers. I really, really appreciate them. All right, and the last question for the icebreaker. Since we're talking about CLIL today, how familiar are you with CLIL? Somewhat, all right. Got some answers coming. Okay, somewhat. That's okay. Remember, be honest. I hope that you guys are honest. Okay. So I guess a lot of people are in the middle. All right, let me see if I can control something. All right, give me a second. Oh, here we go. All right, we only have 22 responses, and I have 49 members here. Who is not answering? Come on, let's get to 30 at least. Let's get to 30. Any more answers? Okay. All right, thank you. Here we go, more answers. All right, we'll leave it at that. It locks. I didn't know it did that. It's not supposed to lock. I think it only gives you a few seconds. So since it is only giving you a few seconds for these questions, which I didn't know about, I'm sorry. Try to answer as fast as possible. If you can help me with that. All right, so somewhat, yeah, okay. So maybe because it's your second year in Taiwan, CLIL is very, it's a buzzword in Taiwan. So I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure some of you probably even used it last year. So today is just a little bit of an overview. You probably know more about it, about CLIL in Taiwan than I do. So maybe you guys can help us out, help me a little bit understand how it's used in Taiwan. And I know every school is different, but it still counts and it can still be very useful. All right, so let's look at CLIL. Going back, don't close your browser. Don't close your poll browser. I will be using it just to make it a little bit more interactive. I hate lecturing, so I thought this would be a great way to quiz you guys. Oh, here we go. So to quiz you guys about CLIL, it's general information for the most part. We'll see how you guys do. All right, so go back to your phones or your other browser. First question, what is CLIL? All right, so let's go to the next question. Remember, you only have a few seconds to answer. What is CLIL? Is it content-based? Is it language-based? Is it the same as CPI and EMI? Is it content and language-based instruction? What do you guys think? Remember, these are anonymous. I don't know who answers what. If you don't know, just guess. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's see how many answers we have so far. Ooh, it's not. All right, I have 22 responses so far. 22, come on, give me some more, guys. There's 46 of you here. Oh, it locked. Huh? This thing should have a timer. It locked. Okay. Oh well. All right. So most of you guessed content and language-based instructions. There were some other answers. So CLIL, in a broad sense, or I guess that's in the core of it. Oh, thank you, Brent. Oh yeah, you can use the chat box. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, it's content and language together that's used to support linguistically the needs of students, and so they can get content. You know, again, this is at the core of it. Specifically, how is it used? All of that. I mean, that is another question because there's so many things to it. People can't even define it, unfortunately. It's very new in Taiwan. It was successful, I believe, in universities, and then it was introduced to public schools, K through 12, or actually third grade through high school, and everybody has a little bit of a different version, but at the core of it, it is content and language together. All right. If you look at when you're comparing it to other methodologies, CLIL is kind of in the middle, not necessarily ESL, not necessarily ESL. There's other in CLIL within itself. If you look at the like the range, it can go from very weak CLT to, oh wait, not weak. Within CLIL, yeah, it can be a weak CLIL or it can be a stronger CLIL. I don't want to go into the specifics of it, but it's flexible, let's say that. So if you look at this picture or this chart, I guess the range, you can see that CBI is kind of, I actually edited this picture because CBI was right below CLIL, and I don't agree with that. I moved CBI slightly to the left because CBI is language based, while EMI is very content based with very support to very little language support. So this is like your, for those of you who are visual learners like I am, this helps out really well so you can see where CLIL is. Maybe some of you are not really familiar with the other methodologies, to just like, you know, audio lingualism, or even CBI, you know, communicative teaching and grammar translation, you know, all of that, but that's okay. All you have to remember is that it's language and content. All right, so let's see if you remember some of your training from before. Go back to your poll. What is not or which of these is not a CLIL activity? So you have choral drills, grammar translation, memorizing vocabulary lists, or all of the above. Let me activate. You only have a few seconds. Go, 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 go. Which of these is not? And you can change your answer if you want. If you're not sure, or you think you want to go with the flow. All right, I think it's locking. Oh, it locked. All right, so we have grammar translation and all of the above. That was the majority of the answers. So CLIL, definitely, I would say there is none of these. So not even grammar translation. So the actual answer should be all of the above. We want to stay away from translation. We want to stay away from, you know, choral repeating and drills, memorizing long lists of vocabulary. That doesn't really, I mean, sometimes it can have benefits, but especially with really young learners, We want to kind of stay away from this, you know, give them context, give them hands-on, stuff like that. So yeah, all of the above. All right, next question. Which of these is a CLIL technique? You might not be familiar with some of them. That's okay. Just take a guess. And so we have scaffolding, group pair work, using appropriate speech, giving sufficient wait time for student response, or all of the above. Ready? Is which of these? These are used in CLIL. All right, keep going, keep going. All right, we're getting some answers. Let me see if I can keep, I was supposed to be able to keep track. All right, we have 22 answers, 22 people who answered. Come on, guys, that's only half of you. I know it's early, but all you have to do is click. If you don't know, just guess. Nobody knows what you're answering. Oh, it locked. Why does it do that? Not a fan of that. All right, it locked at 25 answers. Okay. Yes, CLIL uses all of these techniques: scaffolding, group pair work, using appropriate speech, teacher speech, by the way, giving sufficient wait time for student response. All of these are used in CLIL. These are actually part of your CEOP. Do you know what a CEOP is? Or the CEOP checklist. I call it the CEOP checklist. Because it comes in a checklist. So let me briefly talk about CEOP. What is it? It stands for Shelter Instruction Observation Protocol. I'm not a fan of the name, but okay, it's CEOP. This was developed by Jen Echeverria, Mary Ellen Voigt, and Deborah J. Short. So what it is putting academic language development and academic content to make a successful lesson. It brings those two together. Remember, CLIL is content and language. CEOP is, again, content and language together. It's bringing those two together. It can be used for all levels of education, content classes, dual language programs, ESL, EFL, special education, general education. Now, you might think, okay, Celine, you've mentioned content and language, bringing those together, but how is that done? How do I do that? That's actually one of the problems with CLIL, putting it into practice. How do you do this in a classroom? And that's where the magic happens, this plus, bringing those two together. These are what I would call your best, if you've taken some education classes, or maybe even now that you've been somewhat in the education, field, you've probably heard of something called best practices. I hope you have. If you haven't, that's okay. These are your best practices, which is what I just showed you: scaffolding, waiting for your students giving them sufficient time for them to respond. Using appropriate language, starting from the beginning, your lesson planning, you know, having objectives, having clear objectives, having clear outcomes, and then at the end, making sure that you've met those outcomes and objectives. All right. So this is actually a check. Like I said, it's a checklist. It's an actual literal checklist. um, Maybe I believe you have it. If you don't, I will post it in our group. Maybe I can have it somewhere else. I'm sure you will come across it at some point, but I'll figure out a way to get it out to you guys. Checklist for you to prepare lessons, to make sure that you're hitting all these, you're using all these best practices in your lesson so that you can bring content and language together. But like I said, I'll try to find a way to give it to you. All right, let me see where we are. With time. Oh, okay. Okay, I have some time to go to the next slide. I was gonna skip it, but we have time. Just a a little bit more information about CLIL. These are 8 components. Here, I have them for you, and each of this has some features, and it's 30 features total. It's a lot. And like I said, it's a checklist. So each of these will have, you know, I don't know, like 5, 6 little checklists that you can go through. It's especially for some of you that are, you know, barely starting. It's gonna be hard to remember all of these. I know it was for me at the beginning. You know, you're trying to do all these things at the same time. That you're like, 30 things, I'm supposed to do 30 things every single lesson. You will be fine. You'll get there. It's a slow process, but don't worry. The goal is for you to start using them, and definitely to be consistent. Like, in your lessons, you know, make sure you start with your, like I said, your all the way from your lesson planning, which, you know, you do individually, all the way at the end where you assess the students in whatever way, you know, you choose to. Like I said, these are, some of them are really small, like modifying your speech. Some of them might take a little longer. Like I said, you know, coming up with your objectives and your outcomes. So I don't know if if I bring up the list. No, it's too much. It's impossible to go through. I mean, it's 30 components or 30 features. I mean, it's a little crazy to try to go over every single one of them. Once you see the list, you'll see like, oh, so these are definitely doable. Some of them, you know, will be a little bit challenging, but, you know, remember, you can always ask us, you know, how to get there. We can always give you some ideas. And of course, sometimes some ideas will work for me, but they will not work for you. But there's a team of us here for you. The key thing, again, is consistency. Use these in your classes. I cannot emphasize enough. It's really important as language teachers to do all these little things in our classrooms. So once you start seeing the checklist, you'll see what I'm talking about. But just, you know, if you look at that wheel that I have here, you know, you start with your lesson planning, you're building background, you're making sure you have comprehensible input for your students, your strategies, the interaction, that's group work, pair work, interaction with you, interaction with your co-teacher, Practice and application, this might be practice and application and lesson delivery. That might be one of the hard things for you guys, coming up with activities that will meet your objectives and outcomes. And then at the end, you're making sure your students, you're making sure that they, grasp something from your lessons, or not something, but actually met the objectives and the outcomes. All right, before I go on, are there any questions? Anybody would like to, I know I'm going a little fast. Any questions? Questions? All righty, then let's move on to, all right, this is where you guys will probably teach me, all right? For those of you that worked with CLIL, maybe you've heard about it. Like I said, I am also new to it, I'll be honest. The term CLIL, the strategies, the techniques, the lesson planning, that I've done, but as a whole, it's a little bit new for me, I'll be honest. So first of all, let's start with an easy question. Let's go back to either your other browser or your other device. I believe this thing is capping answers at 25, which is very unfortunate. But I think that seems to be the case. All right, here's the question. By when does the Taiwanese government want to accomplish its goal of going bilingual? All right, here we go, 25 answers. You should know this. All right, I'll just wait for it to cap the answers and it will lock, so which means you won't be able to answer any more questions, or you can't participate. I'm sorry, I honestly was not aware of this. All right, did it lock? Not locking. All right, we still have, somebody can still answer. Not locking. Not locking yet. All right, let me check how many answers we have so far. All right, we're at 23. Okay, I think that's it. It probably will lock soon. Because we're at 23. Oh, all right. Oh, thank you, Sean. Yes, I wasn't aware that people were coming in late. Thank you. Yeah, so it's actually 2030. That was, I believe, published in, or that goal was announced back in 2018. Something called the Blueprint. Oh man, that's what I mean. Blueprint of something. But it was 2018, that I know. So it's actually, again, very new that, the government has decided to take this upon themselves, to get Taiwan to become bilingual. Anybody can tell me the name of that? Oh man, I don't remember the blueprint for. Anybody in the chat box know the name of that publication? I should know this. Nobody? All right, no takers. All right, so this is where this is an open question, okay? Try to keep your short answer. I think the poll everywhere only allows short answers. So Why do you think the government is pushing CLIL? Just try to give me in a short answer. Why? And let me activate it. Go. Oh, because English is the lingua franca. Yay, English. Exposure to English in different contexts. Yes. It's engaging. Yes. Oh, this is not doing a cloud. Okay. Worldwide trend. Global vision for Taiwan. Make learning meaningful. Wow, great answer. Good. Make people's English ability better. Good answers, guys. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. People can speak English and use it as a tool. Definitely. The importance of content-based learning, of course. Students can simultaneously learn content and language. Exactly. So find that balance, right? It's seen as progressive. Good, good. These are great answers, guys. Oh my gosh. Love it. Any more? It's not locking. Any more, guys? Let's see how many we have. We have 23 responses. All right, it should be locking pretty soon. These are excellent answers. Oh my gosh, guys. All right, so if we go back to that blueprint publication that the government released, one of their the main reason is to boost Taiwan's visibility around the world. Yes, because English has become a lingua franca. Yes, because we want to give students more opportunities around the world for other situations, not just education. You know, their future, their job opportunities. So this is for all of Taiwan. Whether you agree with it or not, that's another matter. Of course, there's criticism. You can have your own opinion of it. But yeah, so at least according to what the government is doing, is just to boost Taiwan's visibility around the world. And I believe, so they want to compete in a similar level like Hong Kong and Singapore, where they have bilingual programs and everybody's bilingual, trilingual, actually, a lot of people are. So that's where Taiwan would like to be, which I think is great. I mean, being bilingual already, it not only helps you with opportunities, jobs and stuff, but it also, there's studies that say, how it helps your brain function differently. I'm bilingual, by the way. If you haven't noticed, my beautiful accent is from Mexico. I was born in Mexico and grew up speaking both languages. All right. Next question. How is CLIL being pushed across Taiwan? This is maybe a little bit of a tricky one. So, is it mandatory or other funding activities? I'm only giving you two choices, so it's making it a little bit easier because it's a tricky question. All right, go guys. What do you think? How is it? Funding or is it mandatory? All right. Oh, we have some disagreement. I'll tell you this, there's only one right answer. All right, we have 21 responses. All right, thank you for using the chat box. If you can type in your answer. All right, did it cap it? Let's see. 23, we're at 23. All right, I think we've made it to our cap. Ooh, somebody's changing their answers. So actually, yes, it is funding incentives, cash, money talks. And because it's very new, remember guys, this only started at least officially in 2018. And I think eventually it's going to become mandatory. It's just, or it will become the standard once they can find, that right balance. But as of now, it's all funding. So how do the incentives work? This money. So we have the central government has a big chunk of money, and then they choose counties so that they can get access to those funds. And the problem is that they will distribute that money to individual schools so that they can, start using bilingual programs. And if you guys have worked with CLIL, and that's actually one of the, I'll get into it a little bit later, but it's a lot of work. So motivation-wise, I guess money for now is an incentive to boost participation. Where I'm not sure where it's headed, but at least for now, it's money. I'm not sure if there are any counties yet that have it mandatory. I don't know yet. Maybe some of you can tell me about that. I've never been to Taiwan, by the way. So like I said, this is where you guys can teach me about CLIL in Taiwan. All right, here we go. Our last question. Every school knows exactly how to implement CLIL. Is it true or is it false? Go. Oh, okay. So there seems to be a consensus. Let me see how many answers are false. Thank you for using the chat box once again. This is the last one, by the way, so you can close your browser after this. All right, we're at 23. Yeah, that was faster. Oh, there, it locked 25 answers. There we go. Yes, ding, 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 it's false. Yeah, unfortunately, oh, that's not my PowerPoint. This is my PowerPoint. Yeah, man, schools, every school is different. Even your teacher has a different understanding of what is CLIL. Which is, a little bit of a problem when you want it to become a standard at some point. Because CLIL is so flexible. Remember, I talked about that flexibility on that spectrum of the ELT methodologies. We have the soft CLIL, we have the hard CLIL. So, schools can be anywhere in between that. It will look very different from school to school, from teacher to teacher even. It can be language-led, which is maybe more CBI-ish, or subject-led, which is more on the, immersion or English used as a medium, like the Japanese model. It's, you know, it's what works for your students. Of course, every school will be different also in terms of levels and access to resources, access to teachers. So again, every school is different, every teacher is different. Let's talk about some of the negatives. Like I said, there's no curricula, there's no materials, there's no textbooks. So that can cause inconsistency for, you know, the content. You know, some students will learn something while others won't. There's teachers will be creating their own content, so there's again a difference there. And then, you know, how do you assess? You know, so defining assessment is another problem. Oh, that's not, here we go. A lack of time. Remember that cash part that I was talking about earlier? It requires a lot more time from the teachers. You know, and it's a collaboration, actually, at least for now. You have, you know, foreign teachers, local teachers, content teachers working together, working longer hours to be, you know, have a defined plan. So, you know, it's something, since it's again completely new, it's going to require many more work hours. There is lack of training about CLIL, which again leads to misunderstanding of what CLIL is. Sometimes it's, you know, the content will be simplified too much, and then the students will not be learning, or the other way around. Again, we're like, these small, not actually, they're not small problems. This lack of, you know, training, and hopefully we can, you know, together get some understanding of what CLIL is, and then, you know, you can help your schools. We have local teachers right now, I believe, joining us. So communicating with each other, that's a huge part of it. You know, your team. Well, like, and then going back again, content and language, balancing those. Other problems, lack of language proficiency. Some students can feel that they keep up, or the teachers might feel a little bit, you know, shy about their English ability. Other problems, lack of experience. So this might be a particular problem for you guys, but you've already done co-teaching before, and you know, maybe you came across this, unfortunately. You know, some models, you know, trying to figure out what model or which model works for you and your co-teacher. So that's something to be addressed for sure. Lastly, a lack of data, because again, the movement is so new. There's very little data, like I said. This was based on the successfulness of CLIL in higher education, universities. And then it was taken to public schools. But think about that. You know, students in university, their level of English is much different than, you know, our little third graders who are learning the alphabet. So it's taking one thing and applying it somewhere else. Sometimes you know, may not be the best answer. We just have to work together to find that balance. However, benefits, of course there are benefits. We don't want to be negative, right? Collaboration and innovation. Remember, you will be working with your co-teachers and your content teachers. You have great ideas, they have great ideas. You will be sharing those ideas. You have your friends in the program as well. You will be sharing ideas. We will be sharing some ideas with you. I'm sure you will be sharing some stuff with us. And, you know, of course, more people together, the better. You know, oh man, I'm running out of time. Did I am way over time. All right, so diverse learning, we hit all these, you know, auditory, visual, reading, writing. It attracts students, and then it lowers affective filters. Hey, crashing. All right, you're not alone. CLIL is new. Your experience will be different from others. And remember, we're here to help you. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to rush through that. Okay. So thank you. If you have any questions, here's my email. I will put it in the chat box. Sean, is it okay if we give them the full 10 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. Let's give them a break and then we'll come back and close it out.
Yeah. All right, cool. You take a break. Yeah. So we will be back at, let's see, what time is it for you guys? 10:36? 10:36? Does that sound good? All right, let's be back at 10:36. And we will continue with our presentation. Thank you guys. Bye.